Hello, everybody, people of the world. You are listening to the Positive Ranchez show. That's until I come up with a better name. That's what I'm going with. How you folks doing today? I'm here.
It's okay.
I'm here with my friend Gabe. Gabe.
Hello.
Yeah,
I'm here too.
He is indeed. I'm a little tired, but we're gonna do this thing today. This might be kind of a long video because today we're talking about whamming, and it's gonna be sort of there's gonna be a lot to talk about. But yeah, we're having the talk about female characters in video games and just in media in general. And I kind of, like, to me, I want to get, like, some of these more controversial, I guess, air quotes videos out of the way.
Ask.
Yeah. Do what?
Depending who you ask.
Depending who you ask, yeah. Out of the way, that way people know where I stand. And, because I don't know how long I'll do this podcast. I don't know how long I'll drag Gabe along. I don't know how long, as long as I can, who knows, maybe.
And until there's nothing but a stubbed torso at the end of the rope.
And maybe even past that, a la Weekend at Bernie's, people will just puppet me. But yeah, we're going to be talking about female characters, like, in the modern day. Is it still a problem? Isn't it? How do we address some of the concerns, that are going on?
Concerns from who?
Well, I have to be careful about my wording because
Well, that's why I'm bringing up these stipulations.
True. Yeah. What I mean is, like, I guess some of the arguments that are made by people who are saying that certain characters are, certain characters are badly designed, I guess I should say, and certain characters are good. There's a lot of stuff on Twitter over this versus that, like what is a good and acceptable female character design, what isn't, etc., etc. And so we're gonna talk about that, and some of those things tend to be the things that you would think of, female characters that are poorly written, ones that don't have any agency at all,
or ones that have a well-established, previously existing persona that is then unraveled to the detriment of them and their fan base.
Well, what do you mean by that? I'd like to go further into
Tomb Raider, the Square Enix Tomb Raider, and Metroid Other M Samus.
I actually have in bold on my notes here, just Lara Croft. So yeah, Tomb Raider is a really good example. I was also thinking, like, Other M Samus is, oh boy, we got to rip into that game just like as its own episode one of these days, because I have I have some anger to get out.
Like I have seen the cutscenes of the game. I have not played it myself.
Oh,
but
God, dude,
there is, like, I have heard, like, Tom has played it, and I'm aware of a lot. I mean, like I said, I saw the cutscenes of the game.
You've barely scratched the surface.
Right.
We'll rip into it. We'll rip into it one of these days, and I'll force you to sit through a playthrough one day.
That's fine.
Yeah, but it's bad, and for many reasons. The biggest reason, obviously, is they botch Samus's character so bad.
But Justin, She never spoke
I don't
before.
want to
How do
hear.
we know? How do we know that isn't what was going through her head in
Yeah,
all of these games
because she never
where
had
she
dialogue in Fusion or any of those other in Zero Mission or any. She never
yeah,
spoke.
it's not like her relationship with Adam was established in a previous
Oh,
game. What are you
Christ.
talking about, Justin?
Yeah, you know what? We'll burn that bridge when we get there. But for now, another controversial one that you might not agree with, but I wholeheartedly agree with. Kyrie from Kingdom Hearts 2, I think, is a very poorly
Oh, she
designed
no,
character.
I'm she is okay. Let's how do you want to organize this? Because there's a lot I can say.
Yeah, you could probably say,
Like where is your starting point?
yeah. Well, just give your 2 cents. We won't stay on this particular topic for too long, but yeah, like where do you stand on?
Or does it come back around?
Where
Like
does it come back around?
how are you organizing this? Is this like, okay, here's some examples of good characters,
So first,
characters you feel are well executed, your characters
so,
you feel are poorly executed?
okay, so here's the map. First, we're going to talk about characters that are poorly executed, and then we're going to come back around and talk about characters that are well executed, like good examples. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And how not to do that sort of thing.
So are we going on a gradient by characters who are poorly executed and gradually better executed,
Well,
or
for me, I'm using kind of a set of a like a benchmark, if you will, like a set of
okay?
like this is what I use to determine whether or not this is a poorly designed female character, in my opinion.
Okay.
But I'll also be taking into consideration like some
Want
of
to share that with me? So I know where we're going.
sure. That's probably not a bad idea. Oh yeah, ignore the title. I didn't change the title. My bad.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. But yeah, and for the audience, some of those benchmarks are poorly written characters. So for me, like if any character really that's poorly written is obviously a bad thing. But I guess to be more descriptive when it comes to poorly writing female characters, in my opinion, and from the opinion of, I guess, a lot of, people who, a lot of people who make complaints. I don't want to say make complaints like it's a bad thing, but like give criticism is what I mean to say, is like they they have no agency in the story whatsoever, and all of their success is pretty much like centered around the fact that they're a woman, or sometimes held back by the fact that they're a woman. And I mean, it's not like you can't write a competent story that has to do with their gender. I mean, look at the Wonder Woman movie. That was great, and that was
Yeah, Wonder Woman is by far the best DC live action
oh
film.
yeah, by a
definitely
large mile.
definitely among the top 5 ever.
It's
In my opinion.
It might be my favorite personally. Not that it had much to compete with, but
I think the only thing that made it from being the best ever DC movie was she had to have a super fight.
I knew you were gonna. Yeah, the ending. I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah,
the fact that she fights,
because that is
the fact that she fights Ares at all.
Yeah.
Is it cheapens her journey.
The message. Yeah. It cheapens
the message.
Yeah. Like just let the final villain be mankind and war itself. That's the villain.
Like Ares should have been like, yeah, I'm the god of war. This is my domain.
Yeah.
But I'm not telling them to fight.
Yeah,
That's not my job.
they're just
My
fighting.
job is to oversee and make sure make sure war happens like
Right.
that, but not in a manipulative way.
That would have been
Uh,
such a better like
like it,
ending, in my opinion.
it's such a cop out. I feel
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it cheapens her personal journey. It cheapens it cheapens the the cost of war in reality, really,
Yeah.
in the settings, in the context of the setting,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and it cheapens Ares as a character. Like every it's like
It
that the entire
it
the
ruins
fact that
pretty
she
much
had
everything.
the fact that she had to have a super fight and Ares was like, "Wahaha, yes, it was me all along."
Yeah, he comes out
Uh,
twirling his mustache and flipping his
yeah,
cane.
yeah, it it made it sank just
Yeah.
the whole what 5 to 8 minute section from the moment after she kills the general, spoilers by the way, and
Oh,
nothing changes to
I'm gonna
the
put a spoiler warning on this.
yeah uh the when she kills the general thinking it's going to end and nothing changes, and Ares comes down and he's talking to her until the tipping point where he's like, I whispered to them and whatever. Like from the moment he revealed that to the moment that she blows him up.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like if you just watch
that
Wonder Woman and you like stop at the climax.
if you cut out if you just cut out the superhero fight and what's his name takes the like commandeers the plane and blows it up so the bioweapon
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah, yeah.
get if you
Spoilers, by the way.
cut out the super fight and just kind of focus in hard cut to to the human sacrifices of we can't let this bioweapon essentially don't let Ares
Yeah, yeah, if you cut that part
admit
out, it's a
yeah
great movie. It's
don't
the
let Ares admit to I whispered them all these inspirations but they're the ones that pursued it or something like
yeah,
that. That's
etc.
not that's all that cheapens everything. It's
Everything in the movie.
the recent Wonder Woman film is 2 hasn't come out yet at the time of this recording, but
Right.
the DC Wonder Woman film is really good.
I highly recommend it.
90 for it's extraordinarily good for 95% of the film.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
seriously.
that 5% cheapens the rest.
Yeah, well that's the problem too is the ending yeah, makes the rest like way less. And so that's so one thing that kind of spurred on this conversation for me, at least recently, and put it in the back of my mind, is I watched the playthrough for the Isle of Armor. Like I watched the Pokemon DLC.
Okay.
Yeah, and I watched through that, and in that they introduce like a couple new characters. There's 2 new rivals who are more rivals than have been in quite a while. They actually kind of piss you off for one.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So a bit of a return of the Gary
A
Oak.
bit of a return to the Gary Oak formula. Yeah. And one is a guy, and his name is what is his name? Oh, I can't remember. He's this foppish guy. Yeah, look him up real quick. And he wears a top hat. Avery, that's him. Yeah, Avery is one of them, and he uses psychic type Pokemon. And then the other one is Clara, and she uses poison.
Yeah, Avery is in Shield, Clara is in Sword.
In Sword, right? And so Clara, I was very interested in her because I thought she had a cool aesthetic, and all that. And like at first, when I first like saw her and saw like, or when I was first watching the playthrough, I really didn't like her, you know, because she's kind of a bitch. I'm not kidding.
Like I'm looking at the character, and it's a very Justin design. Not gonna lie.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. I'm you got me. You pegged me. But like,
Justin has an aesthetic, and it's easy to pick out. It's almost as easy as
it really is, guys.
It's almost as easy as, can you guess who the protagonist is?
It's true. I try to act sophisticated, but I'm really easy. But like, also as the story progresses, she kind of warmed up to me, because her entire inclusion is she's supposed to kind of be what, you know, it's like with the effects of competitiveness and how toxic competition can be, you know?
Oh, we covered this.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Yeah, we kind of covered this in another topic. Like, it comes full circle. Like in the fighting game episode, we talked about like how, you know, the competitive scene and how people, you know, getting together can cause or make for like some really sometimes toxic
Intense.
Environments. Yeah, and intent.
It like, I mean, the intent of competition is it's supposed to be intense.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be intense. It's how you handle that intensity that
exactly
that can change people.
Yeah.
Or bring things out of people.
And
or bring things out of people in response to
things coming out of people.
Yeah.
And so yeah, she fully embodies that. She's rude, she's nasty, she cheats at battles, you know. And I thought to myself, this is a character. You know what I mean? Like,
mm-hmm.
This is how you write a character. And she even gets like her little redemption arc, and she starts to know like humility throughout the thing, and she, you know, spoiler alert, I guess there's gonna be a lot of spoilers in this, but she starts to even gain some self-awareness, and you learn that she's really only being competitive because she's jealous of you. And I thought, well, that's a really realistic angle, because like jealousy can sometimes come out in the worst of ways in all of us, right? And so she's it's really humbling to see a character that's written like a human being. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it shouldn't sound like that should be like a really huge shock or like an amazing thing, but sometimes it is. And even almost especially in the case of female characters, it's hard to see or find characters that are just written to be human beings. And I think like when you have characters that are written to be the girl character, it's obviously very 2D and very shallow, and you can tell.
Or someone has a very or the person writing it has a very particular like angle to present.
Or something.
But because maybe this person doesn't have maybe this writer doesn't have the people around them to say, no, that's dumb,
or that, then,
no, that's dumb, that's not how this, or maybe the person writing it has too much clout, and saying no to this person is a problem. Saying no to this person is a problem for the people that should be saying no to this person.
That's actually really common in the industry, believe it or not, which is unfortunate. Yeah. You get so many people that are like, I want to write this character this way, but no one will let us, you know? And it's...
Also, you misspelled Laura. It doesn't have the U. But
Gabe, whose show is
regardless.
this? You want to get your own goddamn show? Just kidding.
No, thank you.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Look, I wrote this in the dead of night, very quickly. That yesterday.
That's fine. That's fine.
Uh, but so another thing that I hear crop up a lot too, is like, and this is not uncommon, but female characters that are purely based on aesthetics, that are just there to be eye candy. You know, we've seen it all before, and even in my case, I was thinking to myself like, yeah, I could see that, and I thought to myself like, you know, who are really well written and well designed like female characters. And I was like, oh, you know, Samus. But then I was like, but she's also very traditionally beautiful. I don't know. And then I was like, oh, Clara, but she's also she's also designed very traditionally as a beautiful character. And so I don't know. Do you think about that when you're writing female characters? Um, and does that affect the type of characters you like or design?
Let's see. Well, as a writer, uh, and uh, like I've written for private and whatnot.
Yeah. And let me just say, like, I think I see arguments on both sides. Like, I do think sometimes people overreact to like physical appearances of characters, and it's not as bad as people say. And then other times, I think people actually have a valid point, and it's like, okay, maybe this character needed a redesign. um,
Like,
for me personally, when I'm designing a character, all like when I write, I should say, most of my stories are written or based off of real life. And so when I look at well, I mean, you know what I mean, to a point. Like all
yeah,
my stories are
there's
based off of stories that I've experienced growing up, you know. And so sometimes even characters I've met are based off of people I've met, you know.
yeah.
Um, and so that but that design might not always appeal to everyone, and then sometimes I even find myself going back and saying, well, you know, maybe I should rethink this design, because like, you know, yeah, you could say, oh, you shouldn't care about like what detractors say, but also if you're creating a piece of media that's to be consumed by a mass amount of people, like sometimes you do have to take into consideration criticisms and what other people say. So I don't know. It's kind of a double-edged sword.
Mm, like I kind of have the so characters I come up with. Um, I usually have some kind of. I usually start with a handful of core values
Yeah.
with a character. Like this character.
Okay.
I
Like a
guess
like
like
a
in
list of do's and don'ts, I guess.
yeah, like a
Okay.
list of a list of do's and don'ts, and sometimes uh, sometimes the character is uh, like pops up.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the character pops up with a strong core immediately, and sometimes it takes a lot of iterations.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have yet to uh, like I've written up some different uh, like I when I was when I first started like really trying to write. Uh,
Yeah.
my cat like the cast that I would make was uh was yeah, I'd say overwhelmingly male, and this was around when I
Mm-hmm.
was I want to say 14.
Yeah.
And uh And as we all know, when we're in that age, you have a very limited scope of the world.
Yeah, to put it lightly.
uh, there's like the first story I tried to write was, it's like I believe my friends said it. I believe my friends, when I showed it to them, was like, it's like Mega Man meets G.I. Joe or something like that. Uh, and it was
That sounds so like you, Gabe.
uh, I will neither confirm nor deny that the four main characters
Yeah.
visual design were may or may not have been based on the armors from Mega Man X5 and X6.
It was badass, man. It was neat.
But
Very neat.
but then uh, I met friends online that kind of challenged me to explore certain ideas. So it challenged me to explore certain ideas, and I started
Mm-hmm.
writing more female characters, and
Yeah.
uh, like there were characters that start like many characters. Some characters started out very kind of uh, like simple. Like I had this like one character that has kind of stood the test of time. Initially started very like very caring, very concerning, mildly uh, not klutzy. Uh, like I, you there? Hello?
Yeah. I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm
Sorry,
listening.
certain thing. My computer made noises, and just making sure I didn't like lose the call.
No,
Anyway,
you're good.
not klutzy, but like
Kind of ditzy, maybe.
a mild inspiration was Starfire from Teen Titans, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
And like that, like certainly not as fish out of water or like or like disconnected from culture
Yeah.
that Starfire is in Teen Titans, but like just a hint of that, and then over the years, the character basically completely lost that element.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
they became a very mature, matronly character
I've done that for sure.
that's still like they're very caring, they're very concerned about other people, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing that character in my D&D game.
Oh, nice.
And
So she lives on.
yeah, well, she's a character I've had at this point for about 11 years.
Do characters in your head ever truly die?
Certainly not.
For real.
And then I have other characters. Like one was one kind of started out as like the bad girl character, and
Yeah.
very cold, very cold, very uncaring, and and like enjoying power or what have you. And then over time, this character, like iteration upon iteration, and
She's the bad guy.
and also like the species she comes from, like developing them into a more like realistic society,
Like an actual working kind of society, you know,
Yeah,
that you would,
and
yeah.
this character went from being the bad girl in my rotation of characters to she's very pointed, very blunt. She doesn't so she's very pointed, very blunt, but she's not like ultimately she is just someone doing her job. She's not looking to go out of her way to hurt someone. She's not like she's not going to like uh she has a very she has a very strict sense of like purpose and honor and but like if you're not going to respect yourself, I'm not going to respect you, sort of person. uh
Yeah.
and like these developments take years and
Yeah.
like dozens and dozens of iterations and putting the character through different trials and tribulations, and you better understand the characters.
Yeah.
And you know,
For
it's
sure.
all just iteration, and so you kind of need people around you that say I like this, I
That
don't like
that
this,
teach
maybe
you.
we should change this. And also you need to challenge yourself. You need to look at yourself and think, how would this person,
That's
like
right.
male or
Yeah.
female, like behave?
Yeah.
What does society expect of them? What do they expect of society and their
Right.
place? So like their place in it, regardless of gender or interests.
Yeah.
Uh,
For sure.
there's like what
And that's how you should write
does
any character, really. You're right.
yeah, and
Yeah, like
like
I definitely think there's this like when there's this younger mentality of writing where you're just like, oh, I'm gonna write these characters this way, because this is what I know. I guess for me, it was always a bit easier because I grew up with an only mom, and I was practically raised by women, so
right.
a
No,
lot of my
I'm
stories come from women, you know. But I definitely had to get out of this mentality of like when I was writing, I was like, okay, like I would write a female character to just be like on the sidelines, you know, and then
yeah,
later I went back because I had matured, I guess, as a writer, and I was like, it'd be cooler if she had this and she had her own like story arc and you know got
yeah.
these cool powers and what have you. Um, but yeah, I definitely think there's this mindset of a writer too that's also like that's probably like this is my vision, and this is how I'm gonna write this character. But like
Yeah.
you definitely have to challenge yourself as a writer to think outside the box and sort of think, well, like from that person's perspective, like what would this
Or the
person really,
perspective, or the perspective of people around
or
that person.
or that, yeah, or yeah, or the perspective of people, in real life and what they've actually had to, you know, um,
Like
like go through.
the id, the ego, and the super ego.
Yeah,
And like the super ego is what the the person's perception of society on them.
yeah,
Like the ego is the
that's
perception
right.
of self, and the id is the
The
base,
primal.
yeah, the
Yeah,
base urges.
yeah.
Uh,
I think like when you first start out writing, there's definitely this egotistical kind of
oh,
like,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
form of
There's
writing.
plenty of ego to go around.
Oh yeah,
Uh, and like whatever form that ego takes, like you have people who feel sad and only feel only feel the need to write sad things
oh
and
yeah,
sad characters and
for sure.
bad things that happen to those characters.
Yeah.
uh there's plenty of that, but then there's also
Oh my
and
god.
that is a type of ego.
My
uh
my biggest pet peeve. I just thought of my biggest like writing pet peeve ever, and like my big. I don't know. Like, tell me if you agree or not. But like, I hate when like somebody is writing a sad or post-apocalyptic story, and like it's intended to be sad, obviously, and the person who's writing it, you can clearly has a very like um
bleak.
yeah, bleak, but like also like condescending view on society, or like snarky, and so like they write it in a way that's like, yeah, society sucks, tough luck, this is totally what would happen, even though like it's hard to explain. Do you get what
No,
I'm saying?
it's
Like where they write the story where it's like everything will go bad, nothing good will happen because because life's not fair, and you should just
it,
deal with it.
I think in Plague of Gripes, Let's Gripe About Writing series, he talks about how
He touches on that a little bit.
he touches on how writers will often have characters at characters or characters as megaphones for their own ideas.
Yes,
and
yeah.
It's not the character talking. It's not the narrative talking. It's the writer.
The writer themselves, yeah, like standing on a soapbox almost.
Exactly. Like on a soapbox with a megaphone.
Yeah. And then, yeah, and I I just hate that so much.
Like
and then you get even worse, where it's like you get the very manipulative thing where it's like they take a character and make you fall in love with them, or like make them very, like, they're almost like a chew toy. Like they're made to, like, intentionally to die and make you feel sad.
Right.
That's why I kind of couldn't stand watching The Walking Dead anymore. It just got to that point where it was like just very mean-spirited and bleak, and I was like, this is not fun for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the whole premise of stories like The Walking Dead is like
Life sucks, but also there are zombies.
or life sucks, and there's no hope of it getting better. You just got to live as long as you can. Like that's like for a setting like The Walking Dead, that's how, like, that's the only thing the setting allows for. It doesn't allow for an improved situation.
And I get that, you know. It still just irks me, you know. Like,
but back to female characters.
Yeah. Not that The Walking Dead doesn't have well-written characters, and that if you like it, I'm not saying you're not allowed to watch or enjoy The Walking Dead.
Just that it is a very limited scope setting.
Yes. And it's not for me, you know, like.
And what it does, it's doing.
And it's still doing, as far as I know. But back to the topic at hand.
Yeah.
So I was talking about female characters and physical appearance. One, I think a good idea, or like a good example that comes to my mind of even like female characters that aren't traditionally physically beautiful. And this is from like a recent example, like Justice from Guilty Gear. She just looks like a robot. She just looks like a mech. And I like, it's a really cool design, you know what I mean? But it's not overtly female. Like, the thing about Justice is it's not.
Yeah, it challenges the female form.
Yeah, for sure.
Much like
she looks like a Gundam.
Like I know Orisa from Overwatch. She was specifically designed to do just that, to challenge the idea of a female form, whereas the other Omnics had been
like overtly female. But then
no, like there had not been a female Omnic up until then.
That's right. Yeah.
Like there was Zenyatta, who was there was Zenyatta, there was Bastion.
That's true.
Who arguably does not like fall into either.
Like really either. Yeah.
But there are certain like physical cues that the brain generally makes you lean towards male.
Yeah.
And then Orisa is very explicitly a female character.
Yeah. I mean, the idea of Omnics having gender in general.
Yeah, through her gestures, through her movements, through her voice.
Her voice, yeah.
mean, like the voice is the first thing that you're
The
going
voice
to
is like
notice.
the most obvious thing for sure. Yeah.
But the way she moves, the way she gesticulates, carries a certain carries a certain thing
Yeah,
that
in
your
her
brain
movements and
that
stuff.
your brain is, oh yes, this oh yes, I can see this as a more feminine character.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. Then you kind of have people also on the other, like on the flip side of the card, that are like that don't like um designs like Orisa, and I mean they're totally entitled to do that, um but are like, why hide the female form? Like what? Like people that like designs like Bayonetta, and I think Bayonetta is a really great design. Like
yeah,
um it's
it does everything it
beautiful,
needs. Her design does everything it needs
everything
to
it needs to do. Yeah.
to
um
present aspects of her to present aspects of her personality, to present
yeah,
aspects of like
and
the
that's how
way
a
to
character should be designed, you know.
yeah.
In my opinion. um
Uh,
like you can just look at Bayonetta and you can get that she's like free spirited, and she's wild, and she likes to have fun, and she's a witch, and
uh,
and that she's covered in hair.
her own hair, mind you.
Yeah. I
Uh,
think the difference between like Bayonetta and something um like I don't know, Ivy from Soul Calibur, is
oh
that
boy.
like is that like Bayonetta has agency in that scenario. Like Bayonetta obviously likes to be fun and be wild and let loose, whereas like Ivy's personality doesn't give you any implication that she likes to walk around in bathing suits,
Right.
or pieces of string.
Like this kind of person should be in like a count cloak.
Yeah.
Uh, like she
Which they actually, one of her alternate costumes actually has her in like a count outfit, which is even stranger because it's like, well, okay, now they know what outfit would be better, and they're purely doing it for eye candy at
oh
this
yeah,
point.
there's no
No
doubt.
doubt about that whatsoever.
Uh,
Like I will fight you. There's no
right.
reason,
Like that
no
from
no good
and
reason.
mind, I don't know a whole lot about Soul Calibur.
Yeah, granted.
I played a bit of 4, but I mean, you can't escape Ivy.
You really can't.
There,
And like it's kind of funny because like even in her concept art is really kind of chaste. It's not that, like, I mean, she's wearing a skimpy outfit, but it's not like crazy.
like, and like, I'm looking at certain. I'm looking at certain like concept art here, and they're like
Yeah,
bodices bursting from her shirts and stuff like that.
you should look at
Uh,
the like Soul Calibur 1 Ivy concept art. It's very different.
concept.
For Ivy specifically. And like over the years it just got, I guess she got kind of, she got some work done.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm aware of the every game it every game she's bigger.
yeah. Yeah, every game made an improvement in more ways than one. But like, yeah, good for you, girl, I guess. But
I guess
it's, you can't deny it's distracting,
it's
and it makes
like
no sense.
it's extremely distracting.
Yeah,
Like her weapon should be the most interesting thing about her design.
it
And
really
yeah,
should.
it really should.
I mean, like it says something when a girl with a blade whip is not the most distracting thing about your character design. But yeah, Ivy is pretty low hanging fruit. Uh,
Very,
I think
very.
I think anyone would agree. One that's kind of strange for me is the girls from Devil May Cry. And in Devil May Cry 5, Trish has a very, very skimpy outfit. But what's even worse is they kind of relegated her character to like a side character. So now she's literally just eye candy. Like, she has no purpose in the story other than to be, well, yeah, spoilers. Like, other than to be a boss in one of the particular scenarios, which I guess you could argue is story relevance, but really they could have replaced her with anything. But alternatively, they've got like Nico, who I think is a really great designed character. I don't know if you know about the girl from Devil May Cry with the thick Southern accent who drives the van.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought that was Trish.
No. Trish is the
okay.
blonde-headed girl.
Then I don't know this person.
Okay.
Because I have not played the Devil May Cry series.
Yeah,
You
what'd you
heard
just
me.
say? Bitch, we got some work to do.
Right. Okay, maybe I've seen this character.
You probably have. She's shown up a lot in like she's the kind of the poster girl for DMC.
She was in Beautiful Joe, apparently. Oh, she's in Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
She's in Marvel vs. Capcom. Yeah, she shows up quite a bit in crossovers. But they kind of like in the beginning, she like in the very first DMC, she kind of has
she has this like Buffy vibe.
she totally does. And she, you know what? She was made around like the 2000s, so that makes so much sense. Oh my god. She's Buffy. But like
I this is me coming from this is the most outsider of
she has like that 2000s like underworld but like also Blood Rain like vibe of like femme fatale vampire killer kind of girl.
Like, I mean, the girl from Underworld had black hair, and the girl from Blood Rain had red hair.
Shut up, Gabe.
So...
But you know what I mean? Like the type of girl that wears like black skin tight outfits and like is totally seen toting a gun.
Yeah, fair enough.
But anyway, it's really sad to me that Trish's character. I guess she never had much of a character in the beginning, but she at least served a purpose, and now she's just there to tag along, and yeah, that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, and since this is now going towards serving a purpose, but no longer, we can come to Kairi.
Yes.
And Kairi,
speaking of people not serving a purpose.
Like, Kairi in the first game.
Yeah.
She was the carrot on the stick.
Yeah.
She was... Because Sora watches his world get swallowed up by the darkness, and...
Yeah. Which some people would say is a bad design choice, you know? Like... Some would say, like, that's, you know, not a very good... Like, even in the first game, her character design was not, like, the best, you know?
They're 14-year-old beach kids, like shore town kids. These kids, they play with wooden sticks.
Right.
It's...
Yeah.
Like, these are... Yeah. Like, these are kids living in summer vacation... And then the fucking zombie apocalypse happens.
Pretty much, yeah. Dawn of the Dawn of the Shadows.
Because I've made the argument that the Heartless is an undead apocalypse, a zombie apocalypse specifically.
It kind of is,
just through a different like flavor,
different lens. Different flavor.
And, like,
Zombie flavor.
Like, so it, so her first, we're introduced to Sora and his friends and his bond with Riku and Kairi. Well, his rivalry with Riku,
Right.
his like very early, his very
It's
early,
charming.
relationship with Kairi. She's the girl
Yeah.
next door. Like, for all intents and purposes, Kairi's the girl next door to Sora.
Yeah, it gives me kind of like the girl next door. That's a good way to put it. And Riku's like the guy. It's like you versus the guy she tells you not to worry about. Kind of.
Well, she, like, I mean, she cares about both of them, but that's because they were kind to her and open to her when she not only is she the girl next door, she's the girl, like, she's the new girl, like, she's the one that moved in.
That's true. Yeah, that's
like
right.
she was the kid that had no friends, and they approached her, and like, Sora and Riku, mind you have to learn about this in later games, but Sora and Riku have a long childhood friendship, and Kairi comes into their life, and they reach out to her, and they become her friends. Because she doesn't have, like, she's new, she doesn't have any friends, and they bring her into their circle of friends. And of course, unfortunately, you don't get all this because Kingdom Hearts 1 was made in 2000 and 2001, and it was never expected to go anywhere, and yet here we are 19 years later.
Listen, guys, we only have so much time on this podcast.
I know.
If we explore the entirety of Kingdom Hearts, it will take a while.
Kairi is the carrot on the stick.
For sure, yeah.
Because you learn early enough. You learn around the halfway point that, hey, Riku survived. Like, Riku survived. Riku's out there looking, and he's looking for Sora and Kairi as well. And Sora's looking for Riku and Kairi, and Sora learns, hey, Riku's okay. Now I can, like, he's okay. I gotta commit to looking and making sure Kairi's okay. And then around the 70%-ish mark, you find, so the player before Sora finds out that Kairi isn't responding. She's essentially catatonic.
Oh wait, so he doesn't. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he doesn't decide to go for Riku at first, right? He sees Riku and he feels, well, Riku and me have always been at it. If I can hack it out here, he definitely can. Yeah.
So
yeah. Makes sense.
So Sora's train of thought is I can commit all of my energy to looking for and making sure Kairi is okay.
Yeah.
And now he knows that Riku is out there, most likely doing the same thing. And as far as Sora's concerned, they're both out there looking for Kairi. And so it comes out that Kairi is catatonic. She's not responding. Sora eventually discovers this when Riku reveals her, and Riku accuses Sora of not caring about her. You've gone and replaced us with these two new friends. You never cared about us, and the whole
with fucking Disney characters.
Yeah, exactly. And then eventually, in order to make Kairi whole again, Sora has to unmake himself, which is like the climax of of the game.
He has to become the martyr, essentially.
Yeah. In order to save Kairi, and he's fully willing to make that sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that does a great deal for Sora's personality. It kind of sets the bar for what he's willing to do for the people he cares about. And that's great and fine. And he's the player character, and that's important to establish.
Yeah,
because that's
for sure.
a choice that Sora made, not a choice that the player made.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to designing a character, it's extremely important to show to show
Yeah.
that these are the things the character will do without the player's input.
That's a
Uh,
good point. Yeah.
uh,
I
and
think it's
so
important that it
Kyrie,
comes from Sora and not just, something you do on a
yeah,
whim.
like the most I won't get into bad examples, but so Kyrie wakes up and the first thing she sees is Sora falling and then disappearing in her arms. And she has no idea what's going on, where she is, who this talking duck and dog are. But she just watched her childhood friend vanish in her arm in a puff of light.
Yeah.
And this castle is coming apart at the seams. It's seemingly.
She has a lot of questions.
She has a lot of questions. She has not been level grinding in the Colosseum like we have.
Fighting Sephiroth and shit.
Yeah. So she does not have the base toolkit to deal with this situation that Riku and Sora had. Like, Sora had the assistance of Donald and Goofy. Riku had the assistance of Maleficent. Kairi at present does not have a toolkit to deal with this situation. Heartless are completely immune to conventional means. They require
That's
magic
true.
to deal with, and
they require specifically the Keyblade, right?
They need specifically the Keyblade to get rid of them. Like, you can defeat a Heartless, but it will remanifest unless a Keyblade is used to release the heart that is in the Heartless.
Okay.
So Kairi has no means of defending herself in this point, but because of her bond with Sora, she is able to single out Sora's Heartless, and she reawakens him in that span of time. He made the sacrifice to bring her back, and she was willing to sacrifice herself to protect him, even though he was in a form that was not
kind of creepy.
He was in a form that was not, yeah, so that he was not himself.
Yeah.
But she can see through that form, and because of her, most likely because of her property as a Princess of Light, she is able to reach through and pull Sora out, and manifesting him a new body.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
From that point on, from that point on in the first game, she is left with people who are capable and understand what is going on. In this case, Leon and Aerith and Yuffie. And Sid. These are capable individuals. You fight Yuffie, for example.
Yeah, they're definitely especially Sid. they are perfectly capable of handling themselves.
They are willing to take care and keep Kairi safe while Sora completes his journey and reaches through the final mysteries of the first game.
Huh. This is the first time I'm hearing it explained to me that way. So no, it's cool. We have a Kingdom Hearts expert on deck, ladies and gentlemen.
I have replayed so many of these games, but I'm going to skip Chain of Memories. In the second game, Kairi is just she's back home. Things are as far as she's concerned, things are back to normal.
Yeah,
and things are normal until bad guy shows up, kidnaps her. And so, yet again, she's another
damsel in distress.
Yeah, she's another damsel in distress, and this is a fault.
Yeah,
this is a fault. And hell, there are in Kingdom Hearts 2, there is a situation in which Belle on the Beauty and the Beast world.
Oh yeah,
Belle is held up by a villain and is giving Beast an ultimatum, like, which one do you want? And Belle just fucking like elbows him in the gut,
Oh
takes the
yeah,
robe,
she
runs
does.
off. She completely, like, she saves herself. So it's not like characters in it's not like damsels in Kingdom Hearts games haven't saved themselves.
It's true. Yeah, that's a good
there
point.
are there are clear and apparent Ariel is your party member, Mulan is your party member.
Mulan, yeah, she, yeah.
Like, there are very
Obviously.
clear and capable characters that you enjoy having around.
Yeah.
Except in Kingdom Hearts 2 Atlantica, because, and that's more on the singing part. I just mute that entire section.
I don't think anyone would disagree with you there.
But
and
yeah,
just look at the on-screen directions. But yeah, there are characters that are fully capable that are written into the Kingdom Hearts universe already. So it's not like the team wasn't capable of writing that type of character.
And Kairi is a damsel until she is rescued by Namine. Until she's rescued by Namine, another character who up to this point has also kind of been a
damsel in distress.
Yeah, kind of a damsel in distress in certain ways, and she tries to help Kairi get away when they meet Riku, who gives Kairi a Keyblade, and now she has something to defend herself with. And the first thing she does is start swinging. So there is a capacity, there is a capability for her to be like a cool heroine.
Yeah,
and it's
hell, like even just being the final boss, for Christ's sake, like just that would have been.
There was a mod I recently saw where someone added Kairi into the final boss run of Kingdom Hearts 2. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, that's great. Like, so it's not just Sora and Riku in the final boss. It's Sora, Riku, and Kairi in the final boss run. That's awesome. In the world that never was.
The fans continue to supply
to supply where we have been left out. But yeah, like it's and then in Kingdom Hearts 3. In Kingdom Hearts 3, Kairi is actively learning in the background the tools necessary to contribute. And I was really hoping that because one of the core conceits that was kind of hinted at early on was there are going to be parts where you play as other characters in Kingdom Hearts 3 story. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I hope this is more like I hope 3 is more like Birth by Sleep or Dream Drop Distance, where you trade off and can play as characters for sections of stories.
That would be cool.
Like, they have their own like chapter. Like Sora's story is the biggest, but then you have like chapters of stories where you play as just them. That didn't happen. Obviously, that didn't happen.
Obviously not.
But like that was my hope for it, because
I mean, they've already integrated something like that, and I think that it kind of worked. Like, I don't see why not.
So, like, Kairi by the end of the game, finally has the tool set necessary to contribute and be a part of the forward push.
Right.
Like, she finally be a part of the forward push, because in the story of 1 and 2, she has been either a MacGuffin or a damsel.
Right.
And like that is a disservice to her. That is a disservice to, honestly, the whole narrative, because the main thrust of Kingdom Hearts 3 for Sora's personal journey is that he realizes that he loves Kairi, like actually loves her.
And I mean, I guess the argument even could be made that in Kingdom Hearts 2, she had just picked up a Keyblade. She probably wouldn't be as...
She's starting at level 1 for all I'm concerned.
Yeah, right.
Like by the time at Kingdom Hearts 3, Sora is effectively like level 250. Like by
After
that
all the
point,
grinding we did, he better be.
yeah, because his base toolkit is so improved beyond 2, and his base toolkit in 2 is so improved beyond 1
Right.
that like he's already stronger. He's stronger at his starting point than the midpoint in the first game.
Damn.
And it's like Kyrie only had like they use the hyperbolic time chamber or whatever to train, but
Right.
like
Yeah.
that's still only a limited time. She doesn't necessarily have the same trials and tribulations that he does, but she is committing to it. Like she learned magic.
She
Like
learned magic, for Christ's sake?
She learned magic. She can cure.
Damn.
She can cast fire. She can fucking teleport dash with her Keyblade. She earned her marks.
Shit.
But the first time that you see her like contributing to the fight in Kingdom Hearts 3 is in a cutscene, and at the end of that cutscene, she is captured again.
You're kidding.
And
You're
she is
kidding.
captured again, and then the ultimate crux is the ultimate crux for Xehanort is I need Sora to take me seriously, so I'm gonna fucking shatter Kyrie. Like she basically turns to crystal and shatters right in front of Sora. And
wow.
Sora is like laser focused on Xehanort. And then the DLC Remind, which is kind of it's a time travel story where he goes back to just before the events of the end of the game and starts seeing things through the eyes of other characters. He sees what Aqua sees. He sees what
okay.
Terra sees, and Roxas and all the other Keyblade masters, so all the other Keyblade wielders.
Yeah.
And sees the things that he couldn't. And eventually it gets to a point where he has to recover the pieces of Kyrie that Xehanort scattered. And when Sora recovers each of them, he finds Kyrie, and the two of them together face the final boss. And it is one of the most to me, it's the most you can play as Kyrie for that final boss.
Really?
And it is extremely satisfying.
Yeah. Because, if you think about it, Kyrie she has all the right to want to fight and be upset, like they took her home, they took her friends.
They took her memories, they took
her memories. She has a lot of stake in this fight.
she has so much stake in this fight, and she's underutilized. She is so underutilized throughout the entire course.
And they
of the
really
series.
could. Yeah, they really could push that envelope, and make Kyrie's battle seem even that much more.
Oh, it's like Kyrie, Kyrie's battle. Like Sora is your party member for that fight.
That's
Sora
pretty cool.
is a party member, and he's the one casting magic and curing you whenever you get low, and he's way better about it than Donald ever was. But
thank God.
But it is a fantastic fight.
Yeah.
It is a fantastic fight. She has a lot of really cool, really stylish, very unique moves, and so she has a combo attack with Sora where they each grow one glowing wing and fucking spiral dash through
Holy
the
shit.
boss. And then the feathers of these wings are made from the light and memories of their times together.
Oh, that's cute.
It's so strong.
Yeah. That's really satisfying.
But she is so underutilized.
Yeah.
For the three mainline games.
Seriously. Yeah, and it takes fucking DLC for her to get
her due. Long overdue.
Long overdue, yeah. And it's why? It really doesn't make any narrative sense. It doesn't make any
it doesn't
marketing
make sense. It doesn't make sense for the narrative is focused on Sora.
Right.
It's Sora's journey. Yeah. It's Sora's journey, it's Sora's arc, and his
for sure.
like Sora is the thread that pins all of the other characters' needles. Uh, and
Yeah, at the end of the day, it revolves around Sora and
uh,
his journey.
and like Sora's journey in 3 is to come to realize like what love is, like what he feels for Kairi.
Yeah.
And the fact that uh like and the ends to which he was willing to go for her.
Yeah.
Like, again, mind you, like the first time he did it because it was like he felt it was the only thing to do. It was the right thing to do. Like, she was my friend. She's my friend. She's important to me. I'm willing to do this for her.
Yeah.
But that was years ago when he was still relatively naive. But by the end of the third game, after seeing all of these examples of like love and what people are willing to go, so what lengths people are willing to go for love, and yes, I know I'm like romanticizing the Disney bits and whatnot, whatever.
Whatever. Like, some people love them, some people don't care for them. But to each their own.
To each their own. Like, the intended journey is that Sora realizes what he has for Kairi.
Right.
And that he is willing to accept that. And ultimately pays the cost with his existence, supposedly. Supposedly, based on the endings of Kingdom Hearts 3. But yeah, like he...
I guess they needed to use something to dangle as a carrot on a stick for Sora, and Kairi made the most sense.
So Kairi does make the most sense, but there is still so much that in the interim, that from those point A to point B, you could have done more with Kairi rather than relegate her to the background.
Yeah. When in her actual role, is just basically to sit there.
Yeah, her role in the first game is to be catatonic and to be the carrot on the stick.
Yeah.
And in the following games, she is relegated to the background, relegated as a damsel, relegated as just an instrument to move Sora along, and that is a detriment to Kairi and Sora.
Yeah, for sure.
Kairi should be doing way more, especially at Sora's side.
Yeah, for sure. Not just for Sora, but even like for herself, even.
Yeah, absolutely. She should, yes, she definitely needed to grind to level 50. I'm not gonna say she didn't need the time to learn.
Yeah, she needed to learn Cura, and
she can cast all the primary elemental spells as well. So,
yeah, so she had to learn those. That takes time.
Apparently, it takes meeting up with Donald in the first game, but
apparently,
but Kairi is such a her narrative relevance is okay. Her importance to Sora is unquestionable. Her narrative weight could be so much higher. And her agency is almost non-existent until the end of the DLC of the third mainline game.
Yeah,
and it's
pretty disappointing.
Shame.
Yeah, pretty disappointing.
It's satisfying, but only because of how low things had to be. Before she got her moment.
Yeah.
Before she got her moment.
Well,
at her man's side,
at her man's side, yeah. Which if it of course it had to be a man,
which it's her choice to to be with him. She
Yeah.
clearly reciprocates the feelings at the end of
For
Kingdom
sure.
Hearts 1. When she draws her, because she sees the picture of Sora
Yeah, and she draws the Palpu fruit.
for fruit and giving it back to him. Those are
Yeah.
her feelings, and like those are her feelings, and she wants to be by his side, but they can't because of circumstance. And then circumstance keeps putting her in these situations that Sora has to save her, and like it's just a frustrating, annoying thing
It
that
is.
happens again and again and again and again.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it is a major disservice to her character and her place and her importance to the narrative.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's ask this: do you feel like, because like the damsel in distress trope, some of these tropes, and I would even say like the trope of the female character becoming useless towards the end, which really needs to die. Like it happened also in Wind Waker, which I think is a really great game, where at least to some degree, I guess that's not fair because Tetra does help you in the final boss, even at least.
At least.
Yeah, but she does kind of.
She loses some of her agency about halfway through the game.
Yeah, but she becomes the damsel in distress like halfway through the game, after learning that she is Princess Zelda.
And I mean that's kind of the King of Red Lion's fault, but
right. Yeah.
Like that's a different discussion. Well, I guess it's the same discussion, but
Yeah.
regardless.
Do you think? Let me ask you this: do you think this trend is starting to change in like the industry?
There are people fighting it tooth and nail. Like
Yeah.
there's no question about it, and it was only a matter of time. It was honestly just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And I believe that wholeheartedly with any
Gabe?
general. So with any bad trend, it's only a matter of time before it goes away. It's like, but obviously it takes people like being active. But I feel it is an inevitability that people will take action.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's.
Yeah, I think people speaking out on it, which people have been very good about, and letting these companies know, how they feel about it in a respectful way, how they feel about these trends, these tropes, because they just hold back. They just hold back writing. They hold back characters. They make, they make girls not or put off, by those particular things.
Yeah.
In a day and age when video games are becoming very, like, video games are for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's becoming very diverse. You definitely want those trends to stop, to go away. And I would personally like to see those trends go away, for sure.
Well, if we didn't have the damsel in distress trope, we wouldn't have Super Metroid.
Get out.
Well, the baby Metroid is a damsel in distress.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Like,
yes, she is.
Super Metroid. So Super Metroid is a damsel in distress trope. Like,
I thought you were kidding, but yeah, I guess you kind of have a point.
Like, Samus is like, oh shit, people are in danger. Comes up, Ridley kidnaps
The baby
Metroid, and then flies off.
The baby.
And you are spending the rest of the game. So you are spending the rest of the game going through every trial and tribulation to get back the baby Metroid.
Well, let me rephrase it. Let me say, because like I understand why the damsel in distress narrative exists. It has its place, and
it's overused.
It's overused.
It's overused expressly for the damsel part.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. We would just like to see more well-written characters. That would be nice.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think really the only thing to do is to speak up about it.
Pete, so make your own stories.
Make
Like
your
put
own
your
stories. Yeah.
own like your own stories out there. Inspire other people. Inspire other people. Get more people to want the type of narrative that you want to. So the type of narrative uh, that puts us your
Yeah.
what you believe is a strong, well written female character
Yeah.
at the forefront.
Absolutely. In some modern, you know, like in some modern examples, we are starting to see that change. No Straight Roads has a lot of really great characters, and it has a female lead, Mayday, who is very cool. And I like that game a lot. No Straight Roads is it's this action beat 'em up.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I've seen clips of this game.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good recent game, off the top of my head, and yeah, it's a weird like action beat 'em up where you can play as two different characters. I'm actually thinking about getting it. It looks really good, and they just released like a Christmas update where it's all the bosses, but they're all wearing Christmas gear.
Cute.
Yeah. I like. It looks like they put a lot of effort into it. It's pretty great. But yeah, I would like to see more things like that, more trends changing in the modern games industry. We need more.
Like the trends will change.
They will, for sure, without a doubt. There's no doubt in my mind, but I would like to see. I would like to see more Claras, you know, more well written, and I mean, you know, there are lots of opinions on what is and isn't a well designed character, you know.
Yeah.
People have all sorts of opinions on what is good and isn't good, but I think we know what is bad.
Yeah, it's pretty evident when of what and when it is bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, let's see. There is, I guess, another example, and she's changed with every single iteration that her role changes.
Another good or bad example? Maybe.
Like, I guess it depends who you ask.
Yeah. Sure.
But Roll from the Mega Man franchise.
Oh yeah.
Roll's role changes with every iteration of her.
Yeah.
Like in classic, she is in classic she's stay-at-home
cleaning robot.
Yeah, cleaning robot. Some comics and other media better portray her that she has a lot of the same values as Rock.
Yeah.
And people love the idea of Roll also being part of the dynamic.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't just Rockman, but also Roll Woman or whatever she would be called.
Whatever
whenever
she'd
she got the armor, because he's only Rockman when he's in the armor.
Right. He's Rock all the other times.
But then you go into Mega Man Legends, and Roll's job is she takes care of the machines. She develops the weapon.
Actually,
she monitors. So she monitors through instruments as his spotter while he's underground.
Yeah, I like Roll a lot in Legends.
And she, I feel she only improves in Legends too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Then you have roll.exe in Battle Network, and she is an active, like, sometimes she's a boss. Like, in half the games, she winds up getting kidnapped, but I mean, we can't win them all.
Yeah. Can't win them all.
Oftentimes she is a boss. She is an active so she's an active member of the DK crew. I mean, in Lanikari's and Mega Man's circle of friends, Roll and her operator Mail are like active members in what's going on. Unfortunately, unfortunately, Mail winds up on the other side of situations, but she and Roll have had her moments of aiding
the main cast. Yeah, that's good at least. Any closing thoughts or anything else you want to touch on?
It's not.
It's difficult to in that, like, I myself, I'm not a female, so
I'm not either.
Yeah, this is gonna come as a surprise to you guys, but but me and Gabe are both male, and so we don't know. I don't know what it's like, for a woman who has to
be on the receiving end.
To be on the receiving end. I can't say what the ultimate solution would be, but I'm keeping an open mind, and I think as long as people are willing to speak their mind, and tell me what they think is and isn't a good character design, that only can improve things. I like to write and design from my heart. I will always do that, what I think is good. I've definitely got like some characters that are like stupid, that are just a guilty pleasure.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Yeah, I defy you. But I think I'm definitely willing to meet people in the middle, or be open-minded, and like women, you definitely should speak up because it's important,
if there is, like, there are certain, like, for me, there are characters that I write that are closer to like me. And generally speaking, those characters will more often or not be a male portrayed character. And then there are characters that are like influenced by like people or ideals I have, and
people around you,
and those are going to shape things. Like I personally have an extreme aversion to to male aggression, and to me it's a very ugly thing, and that probably informs certain things.
For sure.
That probably informs certain decisions I make in characters. I feel that a lot of my male characters are generally more passive because I don't want to incorporate elements of male aggression.
I see that. I can see that for sure. That's for me too sometimes.
And that's not to say I'm not going to have them that doesn't mean I'm going to make them pushovers just because I feel that. So just because through my own internal biases, I have decided, okay, I'm going to prefer passive male characters.
Yeah.
They're not going to be pushovers. They're going to, like, I'm going to try my damnedest to do something about it. But with the female characters, I kind of like pushing them. Like, uh, several characters are much more forthright than some of my male characters, and
Yeah.
like it's a matter of like it's ultimately a matter of what I do with them. I don't have. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, you can only you can.
ultimately I prefer like more personal and kind of intimate stories when it comes down to like putting two people in a room. How are they going to act?
Yeah.
Like, how are they going to bounce things off of each
Yeah,
other? And
because the way it was described to me is like your character's personality. You can always tell a character, like, character personalities are reactionary. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's how you determine how would your character react to this thing.
and earlier when I described that, like, characters I write, I usually have like core values or core ideas or core traits.
Yeah, which I
Like,
think is a good
I
idea. You know.
it's a handful. Like, it's a handful of just very, very simple but potent describers and definers of this person. And if and sometimes the best answer is the simplest, and like
Yeah.
when confronted with certain things, kind of dig down to, okay, what is at the core of this character? Well, like they are like they are someone concerned with the well-being of others. Uh, they don't like uh, they don't like conflict, but they're not going to they don't like conflict, but they're not just going to let someone uh, get away with inflicting harm to them or others.
Yeah.
And so you so I have to build around and so I have to build the response based on what I believe those core values of this character are.
Yeah.
And that's what that's what I'm going to do. And
Yeah. For
whether or
sure.
not and so for me, that's where the considerations of what is this character going to do, not are they male or female, or I mean, things there are always like factors of growing up are always going to be, and factors of just like where this character is in their society is going to um, inform what they feel they should do, and it needs to also
Totally.
inform the writer of what the character feels they should do.
Yeah. Yeah. For
They're
sure.
like it's not a simple man does this, girl does that.
No,
It's
yeah, definitely not. I agree wholeheartedly. And for
there.
for me, like, a lot of the times, for examples on that, I use myself as an example. I think to myself, like, well, how would I deal with this?
Yeah,
You know,
and like sometimes that's all you can really go off
can
of,
really do. Yeah.
and just have this like the best thing you can do is have the self-awareness of asking yourself, what would I do in this situation, and then after answering that, ask, would
What would they
like
do?
yeah, what would this person do?
Yeah.
Like, a question, like, just when you're designing a character, just question yourself and question the decisions made so far, and listen to the
Yeah.
questions of people that are exposed to this character.
Yeah. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, people or characters that are human are more interesting to listen to and to, you know, and to watch do things than like characters that are not human, that are two-dimensional, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
Another example, Zelda from what
oh
was it?
yeah.
The
Uh,
the train
Ocarina
one
of Time?
on the DS.
Oh, Spirit Tracks, yeah.
Spirit Tracks. Yeah. She is your partner. She is your Navi. She
Pretty
is
much,
your
yeah.
paddle. And she is an active part of how you engage with the game.
That is probably the most agency I think Zelda has had outside of Hyrule Warriors in a Zelda game.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm being honest, yeah, she is an active part. She's not only like your Navi, she's like an active part of the adventure. You use her to solve puzzles and do all sorts of things. So,
and then like the first time that she ever inhabits one of the suits of armor,
yeah.
Like she becomes your tank essentially. Like she's in one
Pretty
of those
much.
phantom armors.
Yeah, she's the tank of the team. Time to hide, cowards! Oh God. If only. It's great. But yeah. Gosh, we really could just talk about this topic forever. But I think I'm gonna end it right there.
Yeah.
I think I've said enough. If you guys want to leave something in the comments, or if y'all want us to do even a follow-up video, I wouldn't mind coming back to this topic. But
yeah, address probably the myriad of things we didn't touch on.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's a lot. I'm sure we're only scratching the surface when it just comes to character design in general. But we'd like to hear from you guys, and with that, that's gonna be a video. And please like, comment, and subscribe, and
smash that bell.
Uppercut the like button.
And all that sellout nonsense.
Please 6-inch punch the like button. And all that jazz. Do you have anything to plug, Gabe? I know I ask you this all the time.
Not yet. We're still working on our thing.
We're still working on it, yeah. But it is coming. Don't you guys worry. I'm gonna plug the. Oh, did you want to say something? Sorry, Gabe.
No, I was just saying one day.
One day, yeah, someday, but eventually. I'm gonna plug the Stretch Panic server, the Discord server I've been on. Shout out to those guys, and shout out to the Little King Story server, because you guys are awesome. If you're not already following, you should go there now, because it's a lot of fun.
Are you able to put invites?
I don't know if I'm able to invite people yet, but I can tell people about it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and if you want stuff related to that, you can always follow me on Twitter. Have I shamelessly plugged myself enough? Because I don't know if I have. Anyway,
plug more.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. If you guys like this video, oh yeah, this is episode. I keep forgetting to do this. I need to start saying vocally which episode it is for archive reasons. But I think this is episode 5. Maybe. Are we already on episode 5? Oh boy.
A part of me is kind of feeling like 6, but hang on, let me double check.
No way.
No, this is 5. This is 5.
Okay. This is episode 5. So, yeah. And you folks have a good day. Thank you for listening. And as always, take care.